Chapter 9. Boone. Ivy knows of a fancy place downtown, so we head there in my truck. She keeps protesting that she doesn't need a nice bed or super expensive hotel room, but I need that for her. Ivy's gonna be my wife, and I'm not having our first time together on my shitty old bed in my shitty old trailer. She's used to better, and she deserves to be treated like the lady she is. I glance over at her as I drive. Even though it's late at night, she looks fresh and pretty. Her mouth's still a little puffy from my beard-scraping kisses, but I kinda like that look on her. She keeps a hand on the front of her jacket, pinching it together with her fingers so her tits don't show to the world. Not that I'd mind that, but Ivy's a lady, and that ain't a lady thing to do. Then again, neither is going to a hotel late at night to have sex with me. Of course, I don't mind that either. I feel a fierce surge of satisfaction just thinking about her, because she's mine. Finally, she's gonna be mine. I'm gonna take her to some fancy-assed, overpriced hotel room, peel the clothes off her body, get a few glasses of champagne in her, and lick every inch of her silky skin till she's begging for my cock. Even now I'm hard, my jeans tight in the crotch, but I can be a real patient man when I need to be. Haven't I been patient waiting on her to come around at how good it could be with me? Longest damn week. But worth it, if I get her in my bed and in my life. We check in at the hotel, and Ivy seems even more nervous, holding her jacket shut and clutching her purse tight around her arm. I get one of the top-floor suites, and when I've paid, escort my woman to the elevator. "I think they think I'm an escort," she whispers to me as we get in. "Did you see the way the clerk was looking at me?" I didn't, but she might not be wrong. It's late at night, and weird things happen late at night, especially in hotels. I keep my arm at her waist, feeling possessive of her. Nah, they recognize class when they say it. Probably just wondered what you were doing with me. She's silent, and I'm pretty sure she doesn't believe me. But she's still going upstairs with me, so it must not bother her that much. Besides, I think my girl has a secretly dirty side. I like it. The room turns out to be bigger than my trailer. It's got a couch, a sea of leather chairs accompanied by tiny wrought iron tables, a huge balcony view of the Riverwalk, and a ritzy bathroom with a spa tub and a long marble counter. There's a bunch of ugly-ass art on the wall, which makes me think they need to fire their decorator. At least the bed's enormous, which is all I care about. I turn to Ivy. "You like it?" "It's lovely." She gives me a faint, shy smile, and sets her purse down and slips out of her high heels. As she moves around the room, I head for the phone and the room service menu. I dial a number. "What can I get you, sir?" the voice on the other end asks. "I want a bottle of your most expensive champagne and a couple of lobsters." When Ivy wrinkles her nose, I add, "What do you got for dessert?" The man rattles something off in French, and I get two of it. Because fuck it. I want to impress my lady. "It'll be an hour," the person on the other end promises. "This late at night our special orders take a bit longer." An hour's fine. I hang up and look over at Ivy, who's gazing out at the Riverwalk below. She's fucking gorgeous in the moonlight, all soft curves and long legs. She also looks a little nervous. Her shoulders are tense, and she hugs her arms to her torso. Maybe she needs something to occupy her. I know just the thing. "Well," I drawl, "you wanna do the honors?" "Honors?" She turns around and looks at me. I scratch at my beard. "You said you wanted to shave me, right?" Her cheeks flush prettily, and she smooths her bun with one hand. "Isn't room service coming up?" "It's gonna be an hour. That's enough time for you to get all naked and trim my beard, right?" She licks her lips, and they part gently, as if she's considering it. I nearly bust a nut in my pants at that small gesture because she's so damn sexy. I'm a red-blooded man, and I've wanted women in the past, but there's something about Ivy Smithfield that makes me think I never knew lust until I set eyes on her. She's changed the entire game for me. "You shy?" I ask, half teasing. It makes my heart ache to look at her. So beautiful, and all mine. "A little," she admits, "but I'll work through it." Ivy takes one last look at the lights of the Riverwalk, and then she closes the balcony doors and draws the curtain over it, making our room private. Her hands go to the front of her jacket, and she starts to undo the buttons. The playfulness is gone from her expression, and she looks very serious, as if she needs to concentrate to do this right. Doesn't she know all she has to do is smile and I'm hers? I'm easy to impress, and even easier to arouse, especially when it comes to her. Her hands tremble as she slides her jacket off her shoulders, revealing the silky pink and black bra that's been tormenting me via her low neckline. Damn, she is fucking beautiful. Her belly is gently rounded, and her hips are curvier than I thought. Her breasts are high and a perfect size, and her shoulders are a work of art. She's gorgeous, and she looks so nervous she's breaking my heart. On impulse, I start to undo my belt. She freezes in place, her little nipples hard and pointing through the fabric. "What are you doing?" "Getting naked with you, so you don't feel all uncomfortable." The little giggle that escapes her warms me. "I don't know if I'm gonna feel better with you pantsless. What about when the food gets here?" "I'll cover with a towel." She gives a small little shake of her head, still smiling, and steps out of her skirt. Now she's in nothing but panties and matching bra. And God Almighty, it is a sight to see. Most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life, and her legs are a dream. I want to stare at her for hours and drink in every beauty mark, every inch of skin, every strand of hair. "Maybe you better leave your pants on, but you can take your shirt off. Probably a good idea, since it'll just get covered with hair." "I can do that." I immediately tug my shirt over my head and toss it to the floor, and then wait for her to comment. I'm pretty cut, thanks to my time on a rig, and I normally work out a few times a week just to get some of the stress out. I'm not completely covered in tats, though, and I hope she wasn't expecting that. I have a few on my arms, and that's it. But maybe she likes more? I hate the thought of disappointing my woman. Her eyes go wide as I rub my naked chest. She stares at me for a good long moment, and then her gaze flicks to my face. Oh, you what? Ivy's face goes beet red. "Nothing." Amused at her reaction, I tease her a bit more. "You disappointed?" I pretend to grab my non-existent beer gut. "What? No. She presses a hand to her cheek, and then moves closer to me. I like the way you look. I was just surprised. I don't know why. I guess maybe I expected you to look less rugged, I supply. Amazing. Manly. I flex again. Because how can you refer to yourself as manly and not flex that shit? Her hands go to my chest, and she traces her fingers down my pectorals. Just like that, I forget all about teasing. Her small touch fills me with rage and need, and it's all I can do to stay still as she explores my body with her hands. I can't even breathe when she grazes her thumbs over my nipples, because I'm picturing her doing that to my cock. Hell, I'm picturing doing that to her nipples, which are tight and juicy looking through the fabric of that bra, and so close that I want to reach out and taste them for myself. But this is her moment, and so I remain still. Delicious, she breathes, her hands moving over my collarbone. What? My voice sounds gruff, even in my own ears, but damn, I can't think when she's doing all this touching. I didn't expect you to look so delicious, Ivy tells me in a soft voice. I was expecting, well, I don't know, lots of chest hair. Her hand slides over one pectoral, then the next, and then down to the trail of hair on my lower stomach. But you have just enough. I like it. Her hands seem to be moving all over me. And I like all these muscles. Made 'em just for you. She grins at that, but in my head, it's not a lie. In my head, everything I do is for her. I lean in to kiss her, because I need the taste of her on my lips. But she only moves away and saunters toward the bathroom, peeking over her shoulder at me. We've only got an hour, Boone. We need to hurry this along. Only an hour? Damn. How long's it gonna take to shave a man? I follow her because I'm fascinated by the sway of her hips and the way her ass moves. And God almighty, those long legs. Those are gonna be the death of me. I don't want to rush. I need to do it right, because I want to keep the beard and the hair. Just clean them up a little. Well, damn. I want to keep the beard and the hair, too, but this is starting to sound iffy to me. She enters the bathroom and picks through the stack of fluffy white towels until she finds one the right size she wants, and then spreads it on the counter. She grabs another and tosses it over my shoulders, smiling and looking for all the world like she's thrilled to be giving me a haircut. Women are so strange sometimes. Wait here, Ivy tells me. I need to get my purse. So I wait, staring at my reflection in the mirror. I don't see the big deal. I'm a little shaggy. Okay, a lot shaggy. I rake my hand through my hair, and I'm pretty sure it's been a year or so since I got my last haircut, and it's at least 6 inches long. It goes in every direction most days, which is why I like to wear a cap. I drag my fingers through my beard, thoughtful. It's kind of scraggly on the sides, but fuller toward the chin, and it ends in a sloppy point. I picture the suits that I have meetings with, and Bates. I don't look like them at all. I do look just like a dirty roughneck. Maybe Ivy's right. Maybe a change isn't so bad after all. She returns a moment later with her little bag and then hops up on the counter. I think we'll start with the beard first, and then we'll clean up some of your hair. I don't care what we do, so long as it involves her touching me. I lean in closer, and she automatically spreads her legs as she sits on the counter, allowing me between them. My cock aches hard at that, and I press my body against the counter to try and stave off some of the consuming lust I'm feeling. Up close, she's so pretty and perfect. Her hair is still in one of those tight knots, and I want to pull it loose and see how long it is. But first things first. You forgetting something? Ivy pauses as she pulls out the electric clippers and glances around the bathroom counter. Did I? I reach out and slide one of her bra straps down her shoulder. Part of our deal was that you'd be naked, remember? As I watch, the flush moves over her skin. It's like it's racing from her breasts to her cheeks, which is fascinating. Oh, but I'm a gentleman, I declare. You can keep your panties on. She gives me a wry look. Boone, there are many words I'd choose to describe you, but I don't think gentleman is ever one of them. You like me all rough around the edges, though. I move the other bra strap down her other shoulder and lean in to kiss her skin, just because she looks so good. Smells incredible, too. Like fresh soap and soft girly flowers. Love that. I do, it seems, she murmurs, even as I lean in to kiss her again. My arms go round her, and I find the clasp of her bra and undo it, even as our mouths lock. One moment of hesitation from her, and I'll stop what I'm doing. I want her to feel she has some control, and not that I'm charging over her like a bull. I leave the clasp alone and focus on kissing her instead. I could kiss this woman all day, just because her tongue feels like heaven against mine. She moans when I deepen the kiss, her arms curling round my neck. One of her feet rubs against the outside of my thigh, and I wish that damn foot was rubbing on my cock. It feels so good. She breaks off the kiss, and I can't resist getting one last peck in before she gives her head a dazed little shake. I suppose we better get started. I suppose, I drawl, though I'm more interested in kissing her than getting my beard cut up. Ivy gives me a nervous look, and then tugs her bra the rest of the way off. She tosses it onto the floor in a slow, casual motion, and then straightens on the counter, her back slightly arched. It's almost like she's waiting for me to pass judgment on her tits, as if they'd ever be anything but perfection. Her breasts are everything I've been dreaming they would be. Creamy, round handfuls tipped with the prettiest tight pink nipples that are begging for my mouth. Gorgeous. You're a real pretty sight, Ivy. I know, she says confidently, but her skin is covered with nervous goosebumps. She picks up the electric shaver again and then crooks her finger at me. I lean in obediently. Do I get to touch your tits once you've cleaned me up? I'll think about it, she teases. Be kind to a poor, humble man. She snorts. You are neither poor nor humble. Now hold still. I close my eyes because I don't want to see the travesty she's going to make of my beard. The clippers buzz angrily, and I can feel her movements as she works on my beard. Man, if this looks awful, my brothers are gonna give me such shit. Okay, done with the beard, Ivy says, a scarce moment after she started. Already? I open my eyes, and she's smiling at me. Yeah, just wanted to clean up the sides a bit. She strokes my beard, examining me. We could get you a bit of beard oil and shape things if you wanted. You gonna do it for me? I say gruffly, because her touching me is one of the best things I've ever experienced. I'd probably be willing to let her turn my beard pink if she keeps stroking it like she is. My gaze falls to those pretty, bouncy tits. God, I can't wait to touch her. I can. What do you think? I think those are the nicest tits I've ever seen. My mouth is watering just looking at 'em. No, about your beard, silly. There's a tremble in her voice now, even though she's trying to keep things light. We're not doing anything with my tits. Not yet, I drawl, and finally focus in on the mirror. Do you like it? You managed to make me look even more devastatingly handsome, I tell her playfully. She just grins and gives a little wiggle on the counter like she's pleased. I have a good subject. Do I get a prize? I slide my hand down her arm, gliding over her soft, lovely skin. Because I can think of something I'd like in my mouth right about now. I haven't even touched your hair yet, Ivy murmurs, shifting a little closer to me when I lean in. And I'm covered in your beard hair. Look. She gestures down at her gorgeous thighs, and there's a few stray sprinkles of my hair on her skin, but not enough to thwart a man. So you need to wait. I sigh. All right, if I must. This time I need to sit you on the toilet, I think, so I can work on your hair. She dusts her legs off and hops down off the counter, sauntering across the enormous bathroom to the toilet and gesturing at it. I groan, but do as she asks. I lower the seat, adjust the towel around my neck, and give her a grumpy look as she comes to my side with a comb and a pair of the world's tiniest scissors. I'm getting tired of all this grooming. Or I am, until she moves between my knees and then starts to comb my hair. It puts her naked, delicious breasts right in front of my face. Well now, this just got a lot more interesting. She raises her arms and starts to clip my hair. As she does, her breasts move higher, and then jiggle with the motion of her hands. I groan, tempted beyond belief. Does she know how it feels like eternity since I last touched her? I ain't a patient man, and she's presenting me with something impossible to resist. I reach out and brush my hand over the tip of one of those delectable breasts. Ivy gasps, and her hands jerk against my hair. Boone, she protests weakly. Don't care, I tell her, and wrap my arms around her waist. I pull her against me and nuzzle one of those sexy little breasts, because I'm tired of waiting. I want you, I tell her, peppering kisses onto her skin. She moans, and I feel her hands clench against my shoulders. You shouldn't touch me, she breathes. I think I just cut off a big chunk of hair. Don't care, I repeat. She can finish this grooming shit later. It's time for me to claim her. Now that I've got my mouth on her, I'm not going to let her slip out of my grip. I rub my mouth across one of her nipples. It's tight and hard, but her skin is so soft and smells so sweet, and I can feel her entire body tremble when I do that. I graze my mouth over it again, then drag my tongue over the tip. Ivy cries out, and I hear the scissors and the comb drop to the floor. A moment later, she's ripping the towel off my shoulders and running her hands over my skin. Guess I'm not the only one that no longer cares about my hair. Good. I tongue her sweet nipple for a moment, teasing it with little flicks before I give it a nip. She whimpers my name, her entire body shuddering. and then I move over to her other breast. She practically drags my head to it, one hand tangling in my hair. Not shy any longer, my Ivy. Love that. Love how she can forget everything when I touch her. I need her in my bed. Now. I push to my feet, and a small protest escapes her as my mouth leaves her skin. She gives me a dazed look, her brows drawn together. "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong," I tell her, caressing her lovely cheek, "other than we ain't in bed, and I'm fixin' to amend that." I lean in, squatting down a little. "Arms round my neck, baby girl." She does. I haul her against me, those hot little breasts rubbing up against my bare chest. God damn! She wraps those long legs of hers round my waist and leans in, running her mouth over every inch of my skin she can get her hands on. Jesus, this woman. She's amazing. I plant my hands on her ass and haul her into the next room, over to the bed. I want to throw her down onto it and cover her with my body, but I need to be gentle and go slow with Ivy our first time. I gotta find out her boundaries, what she likes, what she doesn't, and what spots make her crazy. So I set her down gently on the edge of the bed and nail between her legs. I put one arm round her waist and start to kiss every inch of her skin, her neck, her collarbones, her ear, her shoulder. "Take your hair down for me," I command her. "Want to feel it all over me." She nods and reaches behind her head, pulling out pin after pin from her hair. It seems to take forever, but then she pulls out a band and gives a final shake of her hair, and then it's loose and spread across the bedspread, and she's fucking beautiful. She gives me a shy smile. Her long, silky hair gleams like sunlight, and I can't help but take a handful of it in my grip and rub it across my face. It smells clean and soft and just as good as the rest of her. You're fucking beautiful, Ivy. I move in to kiss that pouty mouth of hers again, pushing my body between her thighs. She's under me on the bed, and she feels perfect. And you're all mine. You know that, right? That once I claim you, you're mine forever? "I know," she says in a small, breathless voice, and it makes me even harder to hear her acknowledge that. I kiss her fiercely, my tongue dragging against hers in a rough claim. With every thrust into her mouth, I rock between her thighs, pushing my cock against her panties. I want her to feel every inch of me, to know what it means to be claimed, to be mine. And I want her to love it. She moans against my mouth as the kisses grow deeper, clinging to my shoulders. Her little fingernails dig into my skin, but I love the sharp feeling of it, especially when she scratches at my back. It's like she can't control herself when I touch her. I love making her crazy like that. I kiss down her neck and over to her breasts again, teasing one with my fingers while I nip and suck at the other. She arches against the bedspread, her hands moving to my hair as I pleasure her. When her breasts are pink from the scratch of my beard and her nipples are red from all the sucking I've done, I start to kiss lower. I want to make her come like she did in the car. I need it. Already I'm addicted to her. I kiss her rounded, soft belly, even as I tug on the waistband of her panties. Time to get rid of these. "Yes," she moans, and she's no longer shy. Now she's just eager. She lifts her hips, and I take the invitation, pulling the panties down her hips and thighs. There's my girl. I stare at her bare pussy, my mouth watering at the sight. It was pretty before, with neat little curls shielding her folds. But smooth like this? I can't stop staring. I run my hand over that smooth skin and then cup it. She whimpers my name, arching up on the bed again. I'm gonna lick you, baby. Patience. I just need to admire your handiwork first. I trace a finger along her pink, dusky folds. Do you like it? I like it, I tell her, and then part her folds with one fingertip and rub her clit. But I liked it the other way, too. You're fucking sexy no matter what you do, and you're wet as hell right now. It's like a hot little lagoon under my fingers, and I can't wait to drink her up. Now, tell me what you want me to do, baby. She makes a little mewing sound and spreads her legs wider, which is so sexy it nearly fries my brain. I want you to keep touching me. She sounds breathless, and her hand steals down to rub over her bare pussy. And your mouth. God, your mouth. I want that too. You're gonna get both, sweetheart. And I'm gonna make her come so damn hard. I lower my head and rub my face against her bare, smooth mound. Her excited little cries and the way she moves against me make my dick harder than a rock. I love how shyly enthusiastic she is. Like she thinks she should be all ladylike, but the moment I touch her, all bets are off. Even now her hands are fisting in my hair, and I know she's just moments away from shoving my head down against her pussy in a silent demand for my mouth. Thing is, she doesn't even have to ask. I'm more than willing to give it to her. I lower my mouth onto her and give her sweetness and exploratory lick. Oh, God, Boone, she moans, and her body jerks in response. Love it when you say my name, I tell her, and drag my tongue over her sweet pussy again. Maybe we should play a game. Game? Her voice is quivering almost as much as her thighs. Yup. Like, I'm not gonna be able to stop myself from kissing you here, I tell her, and punctuate my words with a few demonstrations. But if you want me to stop playing and really work this pussy over, I'm gonna need you to say my name. That's how you're gonna tell me that you want more. You shouldn't call my girl parts pussy, she breathes, her hips rolling slightly as her head goes back on the bedspread. You make it sound so filthy. Baby, the things I'm gonna do to this pussy are filthy. My classy woman has no idea just how filthy this roughneck can get. Or would you prefer I called it your little cunt? Oh, God, no, she moans, but she rocks her hips again. Sounds to me like you like it, I drawl, and bury my face in her folds, licking and nibbling at every inch of her skin. I deliberately avoid her clit, because that's part of the game. I want to make her beg for it, just because it's so fucking delicious when she does. Maybe it makes y'all wet when I say cunt. Maybe I'll just keep my mouth down here and find out. I tongue the opening to her core, and yep, She's incredibly wet and juicy. She might not like to say filthy words, but she sure does like it when I say 'em. Ivy moans again, and her hands tighten on my hair. "You're terrible," she breathes, one of her heels digging into my shoulder. I don't move other than to press a few light kisses on those soft pink petals, because I'm waiting for her to ask for more. A long moment passes, and her little heel digs into my shoulder again, like she's trying to shove me forward and plant my face against her pussy again. When that doesn't work, she says my name in a soft protest. "Boone." "That gets a reward," I tell her, and push her folds apart with my fingers, exposing her clit. I drag my tongue over it, hard, and then circle round it. All the while, she makes little choking noises of delight. "You gotta keep saying my name to encourage me, darling. You know what I like." "You're terrible." She makes it sound like a caress instead of an admonition. "Doesn't matter. You love it." Her smooth little mound is so plump and pretty I can't help but give it a little nip. "Love this sweet cunt of yours." Ivy whimpers, and I can feel her getting even wetter. Yep, this woman definitely loves dirty talk. It's like she can't let loose herself, so she's gonna get all hot and bothered when I do, which is fine by me. So I go into great detail about her pussy. I describe it in great, filthy detail and all the things I want to do to her. How I'm going to use my mouth, how I'm going to use her body, where I'm going to put my fingers and my tongue, and then I demonstrate those things for her when she calls out my name again. All the while, she's getting wetter and juicier for me, and my own cock is aching in my pants like it's gonna explode. But my needs are secondary to hers. She needs to come first, and then I'll worry about myself. "I ain't hearing my name, darling," I murmur as I press light kisses on her mound. My thumb strokes the inside of her soft thigh, tickling her skin. "Boone," she says dutifully, and so I give her a lick. Just a light one. She makes a sound of frustration. "Let me rephrase," I say, between nips. "I ain't hearing my name with conviction." When she moans a protest, I drag the tip of my tongue along her slit. Sometimes a man needs a bit of encouragement. "Oh, please," she says derisively, her hands tightening in my hair again. "As if you ever needed any kind of encouragement." "Just for that, I ought to spank the naughtiness out of you." "Boone," she moans again. This time there's a bit more oomph to it. It's frustration and need all bundled up into one, and it sounds real pretty to my ears. So I reward it, stroking a finger against her core even as my tongue goes to her clit and teases it. "Now that's more like it," I murmur against her skin, and slick my tongue over her wetness. She tastes beautiful, and it's a pleasure to put my mouth on her. I push my finger into her heat, and she's tight, impossibly tight, given how wet she is. My balls tighten against me as I imagine pushing into her warmth. Her cunt so tight around my cock, it's like a fist. Fuck! I need this woman bad. Ivy cries out as I thrust my finger slowly into her.
Boone! Oh God, Boone!
Fuck this game, I decide. I need to be inside her, but I need to make her come first. So, enough with the playing. I dedicate my mouth to her clit, licking and sucking alternately. I drag my tongue against the small nub of flesh. All the while I slowly thrust one finger into her, then add another, because she needs to stretch if she's gonna take my cock. My name turns into a string of whimpers on her lips, and her body jerks with every push of my fingers into her warmth. Her entire body is trembling, and her hips are arching. So I wrap one arm round her thigh, holding her in place while I pleasure her. A moment later, she screams, her hands rough on my hair. I can feel her head thrashing on the blankets. Not that I can look up, because I'm focused on my task. Her cunt is tightening hard around my fingers, and I don't stop thrusting. I want to wring out every bit of this orgasm, and so I suck on her clit harder. Her scream turns into a keening cry, and she jerks against me, over and over, until a sweet liquid rushes against my mouth. Now there's the money. I lap it all up and ease off on her while she pants and trembles under me. The taste of her's all over my face and in my mouth, and I love it. Nothing's ever tasted as good as Ivy Smithfield when she comes.
Oh my God,
she moans after a moment. I sit up and look at her, wiping off my mouth. Ivy looks wrecked. Her hand goes back to her forehead, and there's a sheen of sweat on her skin. Her long hair's in a tangle, and there's a flush on her breasts and her cheeks. Her legs are sprawled, and she's never looked so disheveled or so gorgeous. Right then and there, I decide that I need to get this woman messy on a regular basis, because she looks sexy as fuck like this. You come hard for me? I ask, and reach down to cup a hand over her wet pussy, like I'm staking a claim. Or do you need more? A small, throaty laugh bubbles up in her throat, and she stares up at nothing, drowsy.
I think if I had any more, they'd be scraping me off the ceiling.
Give me a few minutes, I drawl, grinning. I can't help but give her pussy a little stroke with my fingers, and she squeaks. But I can't make good on that promise, because I need a condom before I can sink into her. I get up off the bed because my tight-feeling jeans are killing my dick, and I pull my wallet out and toss it onto the bed before I undo my zipper. She sits up, wobbly, and tries to smooth her hair into some semblance of dignity, but it ain't working. She looks good and fucked, and I'm about to make sure that she is good and fucked. I shove my pants down, sending my underwear with my jeans, and step out of both. Her eyes widen, and she stares at me naked for a long, long moment. Wow. Ivy does know how to flatter a man. I grin, opening the condom and rolling it down my length. Why, thank you.
This is probably a silly question, but are all erect penises that large?
She raises her eyebrows and looks at me, as if clearly skeptical. Erect penises? I still, because that's a damn virginal question to ask. Makes no sense, unless... Ivy, are you virgin? Her cheeks get all flushed.
Maybe.
Oh, god damn. It's like the floor's just been jerked out from under me, but in the best possible way. I'm humbled that she'd choose me to share such a gift with. And the more savage, primal part of me is filled with possessive joy that I'm gonna be the first and last hand to touch her in this way. She's mine. More than ever, she's mine.
Is that a problem?
She asks. She tugs her long hair forward over one shoulder, covering her breast. The look on her face is suddenly uneasy. Not a problem, I tell her, my voice gruff. But I'm glad you told me, because that explains why she's so tight. And I need to go extra slow and careful with her to make sure that she comes her brains out. I want her first experience to be earth-shattering. I want her to love every minute of it. I'm tempted to go down on her again to ensure just that. I won't, though. Ivy's already pretty sensitive, and I just made her come hard. I don't want her to be too gutted to enjoy my favorite part of sex. I want her to be there with me through every moment. I want her to come when I come. I want her to enjoy my cock inside her. I want her to love it when I stake my claim on her. I'm a selfish prick like that. Ivy looks nervous, even though she shrugs.
I wasn't sure if there was an appropriate time to point it out. Not that it matters, because we've done a lot of other non-virginal things.
She's blushing again, and her thighs go together. She's thinking about me between her legs. She's gonna have me between her legs every day for the rest of her life. It changes nothing. You're still mine. I move back onto the bed, covering her. I prop up on one elbow and pull her body against mine. We're both naked now, and I can feel every inch of her bare skin against my own. She shivers and gazes up at me with big, soft eyes.
I like being yours, she whispers.
I groan and capture her mouth with mine. She's so fucking sweet, so damn perfect that it hurts. I drag my tongue over hers, trying to give her as much pleasure as she gives me. Her mouth opens eagerly for my kiss, and her tongue plays alongside mine, her hand skimming my arm. I slide a hand between her thighs, brushing over her bare pussy before slipping a finger inside her again. She inhales slightly, and I deepen the kiss between us, determined to keep her in the moment even as I move a thigh in between hers. She's soft and wet for me, but still tight, and I work her pussy with my hand even as I kiss her. When she's moaning and breathless in my arms, I put a hand on one thigh and spread her legs wider. I'm gonna push inside you now, Ivy. You just say something if you want me to stop. She gives me a little nod and presses a tiny kiss to my mouth, as if trying to encourage me. So fucking sweet. I rub my hand over her sex again, and her folds are slick with her juices. I drag the head of my cock back and forth in them, lubing it up. Ivy moans, her head tossing. I fit my cock against her entrance, and then, slowly, begin to ease into her. She's fucking impossibly tight, and I have to push a little harder than I want to get anywhere. I don't want to hurt her. The last thing I want on this earth is to cause her pain. Her hand stops its gentle stroking of my arm, and her nails dig into my skin a little. You okay, baby girl? I ask. leaning in to give her another quick kiss. She nods, gazing up at me with dark eyes. I push into her, inch by excruciating inch, all the while keeping my gaze locked with hers. It's the most intense, intimate thing I've ever done. Most of the time I just slam into a girl and hope for the best, but everything needs to be perfect for Ivy. Everything. Ivy is tight around me, her body squeezing my cock like a glove. I kiss her again and again, because I want her to think of this moment with pleasure, not with any discomfort she might be feeling. She's my first and only virgin, and I don't know what to expect or how badly it's going to hurt her. All I know is that I want to make it good for her. So I take my time, and then impossibly, I'm sheathed entirely in her warmth. "How does it feel?" I ask her, pressing my mouth against her jaw. My entire body's tense with need, and I feel the strain of holding back in every muscle.
"Very full."
Ivy sounds breathless. Her body quivers under mine, and then she shifts, just a little. "Uncomfortable? I'll get off her right now and stop if it means she's not enjoying herself." She shakes her head, and her hand strokes my hair back from my face.
"It feels good. Different, but good."
I nod and give her another searing kiss before pulling back and rocking into her. I move carefully to ensure that I don't hurt her, and every inch feels excruciatingly slow. It's the most intense sort of pleasure, and I can feel my own need to come building in my body. I need to fight it, because I need to make this good for her. Her eyes widen, and she gasps when I thrust into her.
"Boone,"
she breathes, the sound full of wonder. "Tell me how you're feeling, baby girl," I murmur, pressing kisses to her face.
"That was... oh."
Her sigh of pleasure is everything. "Want more? Or want me to stop?"
"Don't stop."
Her hand moves to my shoulder, and she lifts one leg, wrapping it around my hip.
"Please don't stop."
That's all the encouragement I need. I begin to thrust into her in languid, steady movements, working hard to keep myself in check. I'm sweating hard at the tense need in my body, but this has to be good for her. It has to be perfect. So I focus on her pleasure, the expression she makes, the look in her heavy-lidded eyes that tells me she's enjoying this. I can't help but run a hand over her body as I fuck her slowly, cupping one sweet breast and caressing her skin everywhere. She moans as I rock deep into her, the first sound of pleasure she's made since I pushed into her. I focus on that because I want more of her responses. I drag my thumb over her nipple and stroke into her again, increasing my rhythm. My mouth claims hers, and I swallow her next little responsive sigh. She likes that I've sped up, and so I move faster, my thrusts harder and deeper. This time, when she moans into my mouth, it's full of need. Her hands flutter over my shoulders, as if she's unsure where to put 'em. I grab one and put it on my ass, never breaking our kiss, and rock into her over and over again. Her cunt ripples around me, and I can feel her suck in a breath in the moment that everything changes. Her entire body shivers under me, and when I thrust my tongue into her mouth, her kiss in response is wilder, more frantic. Her nails dig into my skin again, and then we're locked together, her body pinned under mine as I claim her hard, each thrust pushing our joined bodies across the bedsheets with the force of it. She makes an escalating little sound, her hips rising up to meet each of my thrusts, and I hold her tight as I plunge into her. I need her to come again, to let go so I can finally claim my own release. But she moans and writhes under me, close, but not quite there yet. I need to get her there, now, fast, before it's too late and I spill my load. Before I can push into her again, I reach between us and find her clit. I rub my fingers over it in a little circle and feel her body surge under mine. She bites down on my lower lip, making an intense little sound. I thrust into her again, and then I feel her body respond. Her cunt seems to suck me deeper and tightens hard round my shaft, and her entire body ripples with the force of her orgasm. She cries out, and I keep rubbing her, even as I begin to thrust harder. Now, I can come. Blind with lust, I pump into her with mind-blowing force. I'm in her wet heat, so deep that my entire cock feels like it's being clenched tight in her pussy. I'm drowning with need for her, and a second later, I explode with the force of my orgasm. My entire body shudders with my release, even as I continue to pump into her. It feels like I'm coming forever, like there's no end to my own orgasm. I'm barely aware of her sweaty skin under mine, or that her hand is stroking through my hair as I collapse on top of her. All I know is that she's mine, and I've just claimed her.
Ivy. I lie atop the blankets of the enormous posh bed and feel totally and completely destroyed in all the best ways. I'm exhausted, sweaty, my thighs are slick from my own release, and my long hair feels like it's stuck to my skin. But, wow, I feel incredible, boneless and sated, and completely, utterly sexy. Boone rolled off me the moment he came, and he lay in bed next to me for a moment before getting up to get rid of the condom. He returns a few moments later with a warm, wet towel and proceeds to bathe the insides of my thighs like it's no big thing, like I'm a piece of property that needs to be carefully maintained. And instead of being offended, I find it oddly sweet, thoughtful. Of course, all of that changes when he strokes the towel over my pussy and gets a thoughtful look in his eyes when I shiver. So soon? I still feel hollowed out from sex with him. It was my first time, and while it felt tight and awkward for a few moments, it wasn't the teeth-clenching ordeal I've heard it described as by some women.
How you feeling?
Boone asks, even as he slowly rubs the towel over my flesh. I shiver, feeling squirmy under the intensity of his gaze. I'm fine, and I can wash myself, really. There's a sudden knock at the suite door.
Room service,
a male voice calls. I squeak in horror and fling myself from the bed, racing toward the bathroom. Boone just chuckles.
Coming,
he calls out. I look back at him, and he's wrapping the blanket around his hips, making his way to the door. I close the bathroom door and press my hand to my overheated cheeks. I'd forgotten about room service completely. Good Lord. I stare at the counter, covered with stray beard hairs and my scattered grooming kit, and realize I've forgotten about a lot of things. Boone has kissed the brains straight out of my head. I look at my reflection, and a sound of horror escapes me at the sight. My hair is a nest of snarls, my lower face scratchy and red from his beard. There's a hickey on one of my breasts, and I have no idea how that got there. I eye myself lower, and sure enough, my inner thighs are the same scratchy pink as my face, because his beard was there, too. I am going to be blushing for days. I wash my face and wipe my body down with a wet towel, then comb my hair into a semblance of normalcy. I moisten my irritated face with one of the hotel lotions, and then crack the bathroom door open a hair, listening for people. "You can come out, Ivy," Boone drawls. "He's gone." I wrap a towel around my body and emerge from the bathroom. Boone's standing at a table, a tray of food in front of him, a bottle of champagne in his hands. His butt is to me, and, gosh, it's a really fine butt. I can't help but notice the scratches on his back, though, and on his shoulders, and, okay, on his butt. Sorry about the clawing. I guess I got carried away. He gives me a rather wicked look. "I am completely fine with you getting carried away, just for the record." I feel myself blushing, but move to his side. His beard looks fantastic now, neatened up and trimmed at the edges. The hillbilly look is gone, and in its place is a devastatingly gorgeous man, who needs me to finish his hair. Well, I suppose I can do that later. "I can't remember what you ordered," I tell him, gazing down at the silver-covered trays. "Lobster," he tells me. "Ain't that what all the fancy guys buy their ladies when they go out?" Late-night lobster? I hide my grimace and pull a lid off of one of the trays. To my delight, it's dessert. There's a plate drizzled with chocolate and decorated with berries, and in the center is some sort of cream puff with sugary bread. Is this one for me? Sure is. I can't help but dig a finger into the icing. I lick it, and it tastes like sin. What is it? Hell if I know. It's French. He shrugs. Sounded fancy as shit, though. I giggle. Well, thank you. Boone's eyes gleam with pleasure. Gotta keep my elegant woman in the lifestyle she's accustomed to. Somehow I manage to keep smiling, but my joy is fading on the inside. What have I done? He's bound to find out who I really am, and then the shit will officially hit the fan, and hit the fan hard. Maybe I should just tell him, just fess up that all this is an act to try and launch my sorry real estate business, and I'm more tramp than lady. Maybe he'll just laugh at the fact that I trained my Texas drawl out of my voice, that I buy clothes I can't afford and learned how to do my own hair and nails on endless YouTube videos because I needed to look salon perfect without being able to afford the salon. He pours me a glass of champagne and sits down in one of the chairs at the table. Before I can pick a seat for myself, he grabs me around the waist and tugs me into his lap. He grabs the edge of my towel and pulls it off, and then I'm just as naked as he is. That's better, he tells me. I shiver, not because I'm cold, but because I'm hyper-aware of all his naked skin. Why is this better? Because you get to eat your sweets, he tells me, tugging the dessert plate in my direction. And I'll get to eat mine. And he leans in and gently nips at my bare shoulder. I bite back a moan. I'll tell him in the morning. I wake up to Boone's hand sliding between my thighs. He rubs my clit with his fingers as he kisses my neck, and doesn't let up on either until I come. A moment later, he pulls me onto my hands and knees, puts on a condom, and then pushes into me from behind. His hand smooths down my back. You sore, darling? I'm a little achy, but not enough to stop him. I shake my head. That's enough for Boone. He fucks me hard, jerking my hips back against his cock with every thrust. I do my best to stay silent and let him enjoy the moment, but that's not enough for him. He's not satisfied until he puts a hand between my legs and massages my clit with every thrust. That makes me nearly come out of my skin with pleasure, and he doesn't come until I've screamed his name into the knotted handfuls of sheets at least twice. Then he carries me to the shower and gently washes me from head to toe, as if I'm too tired and helpless to take care of myself. It's almost funny, except he's so very serious about it. He washes my hair with great determination, as if the world depends on my hair being shiny, clean, and perfect. When we emerge from the shower, he lets me tidy up his hair with the scissors. I cut several inches away, not wanting to drastically alter his look to where he's unhappy with it, but he insists I cut more. In the end, he winds up with ultra-short hair that's just a little longer on the top. I put a bit of pomade on my hands and run them through his locks, and I'm stunned at how devastatingly handsome he is. He was good-looking before, but I'm feeling a bit like Michelangelo with a marble block, and I've just uncovered David. Of course, David had a small pecker, so perhaps that's not the best comparison for Boone. "Why are you smiling?" he asks me, leaning forward in the mirror to check his quickly drying hair. "Don't look stupid, does it? I ain't a good judge of these things." "You look fantastic," I tell him, "like a sexy beast." He gives me a devilish grin. "So sexy you want to crawl back into bed with me?" "You're lucky it's a Saturday, because if this was a work day..." Something screams out of the other room, and I jump a little. What was that? He grimaces and pats my shoulder. "That's my ringtone for the money guys. Hang on a sec." I watch, mystified, as he goes to answer the phone. Sure enough, the scream echoes through the room again a second later, and he answers. "What is it?" He's silent for a long moment, and so I close the bathroom door to give him some privacy. I put my grooming kit away, twist my wet hair into a bun and pin it tight, and then work on moisturizing my face again. I'm still a little pink from last night, but I can't find it in me to ask him to cut the beard. I like it too much, heaven help me. When I emerge from the bathroom, Boone's grinning ear to ear. "Get dressed, darling. We're about to go have some fun." "We are?" "Yep. Remember I told you I wanted to buy a golf course?" I head to the opposite side of the bed and pull my suit off the floor. It's wrinkled badly. Ugh, I'm going to have to iron it before I dare leave the room, or else the staff downstairs will really think I'm a hooker. I remember. I thought we'd focus on the house first, and then... "I bought one," he says, interrupting me. I stop, surprised at the stab of hurt I feel at his announcement. "You did?" "Yeah. There's one I wanted in particular, so I set my money guys on it. They made an offer on the business and signed the paperwork lickety-split." "Oh. I don't know if this particular business would have fallen into my jurisdiction, but I'm strangely wounded." "Don't be sad, baby girl," Boone says. He comes to my side and wraps his arms around me in a bear hug. "I know I promised you the commission on this one, but the owner was motivated to sell fast, and so I needed to get my guys in there. We threw so much cash at him it made his head spin." This isn't making me feel any better. If anything, I feel worse. There goes one commission, and I never even had a stab at it. What if Boone gets bored or tired of waiting on me to find him the perfect house and goes under my nose again? "I see." "Get dressed, because we need to go meet my brothers at the golf course, and I want to show you off to them." I feel a stab of irritation and pry out of his arms. "I'm not sure I want to go. I have a lot of work to do, and I'm already eating into my schedule by being here." The boyish enthusiasm on his face dims, and I feel like a jerk. "Am I hogging all your time?" "It's not that," I say quickly. Tell me how much it'll cost to keep you with me today. I'm not a hooker, I snap. You can't buy me by the hour. Boone looks utterly abashed. Well, shit, Ivy. I didn't mean it like that. And now I really feel like a jerk. I know you didn't. I'm sorry. I guess I'm just hurt about the golf course. And I'm woman enough to admit it. I'll go with you. I just need to tidy up my suit. I hold up my wrinkled skirt. Some of the excitement returns to his face. I'll show you a good time. It's gonna be fun. I'm not sure how me seeing his new purchase that I didn't get a commission on is going to be fun, but I have to admit that every time he gives me one of those broad smiles, I get weak in the knees. While I iron, do me a favor and find me a hand towel I can pin to the front of my jacket to act as a slip. He nods and pulls me against him. I'm sorry if I hurt you, Ivy. The look on his face is utterly somber. I'm just used to declaring that I want a thing and going after it. I completely forgot that this might take money out of your pocket. I'm going to make it up to you. You don't have to, I say quietly, because I don't know why I'm mad. It was pie-in-the-sky money anyhow, as in I won't believe there's a sale attached until I see the money in my bank account. I do, and I'm gonna, starting right now. The naughty gleam returns to his eyes, and he drops to his knees. Think you can iron while my mouth's on your pussy? Oh, dear Lord help me, because I think I'm about to find out.